Hey, listeners, before we get to today's podcast, I just want to thank our sponsors who make this podcast possible. First off, we have Tiny & Sons Glass. Does your vehicle have cameras or driver's assist? If so, when your windshield is replaced, it will need to be recalibrated. What is recalibration? When your vehicle's windshield is replaced, the safety systems need to then be tested to ensure that they work with your new windshield. Some vehicles require static recalibration, and others require a dynamic recalibration. Not sure who to trust to take care of this recalibration for you? Well, just call Tiny & Sons Glass in Pembroke, Mass. They are experts in auto glass and registered company of the Auto Glass Safety Council. Plus, they make it easy. They will call your insurance company for you. Get your windshield replaced by their highly trained auto glass technicians. And get your vehicle recalibrated so you can be back on the road. Tiny & Sons Glass, keeping you and your family safe. And our second sponsor today is Baxter Blue. Do you experience digital eye strain from too much blue light exposure from digital screens? Baxter Blue glasses are not your average frames. These blue light lenses filter 80% of the highest energy blue light, eliminating 99% of the glare. The past year, we've all been glued to our devices more than ever. And here at Inebri-art, we're making more content. We have some video content. We're doing a lot of audio stuff, live streaming, which all means I'm sitting in front of the computer. Pretty much any time I'm awake, I am in front of the computer, eyes glued to the screen. Our exposure to digital light has soared, and our eyes and our sleep are suffering as a result. Baxter Blue is also a force for good and provides a pair of reading glasses for someone in need for every pair sold. This is eyewear built for our digital age, and Baxter Blue is giving our listeners 10% off the next purchase of blue light, sleep, or kids glasses. Click on the link in our show notes for an exclusive discount. This is the sign you have been waiting for to invest in blue light glasses. We know you'll love your Baxters, and we know that you will feel the difference. So thanks again for our sponsors for sponsoring the show, and now let's jump right into the podcast.
Cross the line, let go of the stream. I've been in Tampa Bay, around the horn, and home again, 'cause that is the sailor's way.
Welcome back to the Old Colony Cast, a podcast about all things Plymouth and surrounding areas. I am your host, Andy, and I am joined today by producer Fish.
Yellow.
And as always, co-host Hanna.
Hi.
First off, just I want to touch base and recommend to our listeners that on Netflix, our last episode was about the Isabella Gardner Museum. And if you're not aware, there is a 4-part documentary on Netflix about it as well. That was not planned on our part. That just happened.
Yeah. I mean, so much of the stuff we do overlaps.
Kind of in like weird ways like that. Yeah. But if you get a chance, listen to it. It's not as funny as our show, but it was way more in depth. They really did an excellent job. I enjoyed it a lot. And but we're not talking about that today, Hannah. What are we talking about?
We're talking about the 12 tribes.
The 12 tribes.
Yes, which I my whole life have called them the 12 tribes of Israel.
Okay.
Which
is that not accurate?
No, not for this group.
Okay.
The 12 tribes of Israel are two things. Historically, the 12 tribes of Israel is like an ancient Jewish religion.
Okay.
12 tribes from the 12 sons of
Joseph.
Jacob.
Oh, Jacob, sorry.
Yes, close. Jay. It was very close.
You could have convinced me of either. I was not aware.
And so that's where the 12 tribes idea comes from. Israel, because it was the area that the 12 tribes existed in. Mm-hmm. And there is a 12 tribes of Israel religion.
Organization?
Yeah, in Jamaica, it's a Rastafari group.
Really?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. So when I looked up, I was like Googling 12 tribes of Israel. Dip, 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 dip. And I was like, this is not the same.
They're really into Bob Marley.
I was like, this is not the group that I thought I was looking up. So anyway, not them. They are just the 12 tribes. In Plymouth, well, I don't know. We know them as something else. Most people just call them the cult.
Yes.
Right?
But it's not just located here.
No.
Okay.
In Plymouth, it just feels hyper local. They are global.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all over the map. for a good reason, which I'll tell you about. So formerly known as the Vine Christian Community Church, and a couple other names, Northeast Kingdom Community Church, Messianic Communities, and the Community of the Apostolic Order. And it was founded in 1972 by Gene Spriggs, and he goes by Yonik,
Okay.
and in their group. And
So 72, it's for a religion, it's new.
ish,
Yeah.
new-ish.
I mean, it's like Scientology old.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's from Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is where that started. So he started that in Chattanooga.
In Chattanooga,
Yeah,
okay.
that's like where it all began. He has a wife named Marcia. And like I said, the group went through all sorts of name changes because of, just several reasons. Adapting,
Yeah.
figuring it out, trying to
Branding.
Yeah.
get the right thing.
Yeah.
Right? And they first went by the Light Brigade, which I quite like.
The Light Brigade.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's taken.
It is?
Not by religion, but
It's a poem, right? The Charge of Light Brigade.
The Charge
yeah.
of Light Brigade.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I like it though.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a good poem.
Yeah.
But also, everyone dies at the end.
doesn't everyone die at the end? I mean, like,
Usually not at the end of the poem.
yeah, all right.
None of us are making it out of here.
I mean, we'll make it out of this room, right, Hannah? All
Yeah,
right.
no, here or speak, Well, some people don't think that, but either way. Making it out of this room. A ministry of, they were younger, they were teenagers mostly, and they worked out of a coffee shop
Okay.
that the Gene Spriggs owned. It was in his house. So this whole, let's set up a shop somewhere and have a community-based religion around that.
It's
Is-
like one of their founding principles.
Yes, exactly.
Huh.
And he started to live and open up his home to people
Okay.
once they were part of the community, just because he thought that was like the right thing to do, They also followed, he wasn't totally taking and doing sermons and like creating his own version of the Bible yet. They were part of a Presbyterian church
Okay.
in the area, and they caused some friction because of the way the Light Brigade lived, because they were living together, and the Presbyterian church was like, we don't really like that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird. And they also had the habit of just like inviting every person, no matter your race, creed, whatever, social standing, they would invite them, and the Presbyterian church was like, can't just like invite everyone.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
1976, I feel like maybe not everyone in Tennessee was.
Yeah.
super
No, I get that,
open-minded.
but I mean, I'm not trying to jump ahead, but I've heard things which makes me,
Right.
Yeah. That seems opposite of that.
Yes,
But I
I-
don't want to jump ahead. We'll get to
No,
that.
you totally you're hitting the nail on the head.
Okay.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
All right.
So
I don't want to spoiler
Right.
anything.
they decided to leave the Presbyterian church in 1975 on Super Bowl Sunday then, because
Why?
the Steelers and the Vikings were playing, and the Presbyterian church were Vikings fans and they were Steelers fans.
You're making that up.
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, there's no way. If that was true, I would have definitely sworn on this episode.
It is on that razor's edge of just stupid.
I'm like, that
nearby.
cannot be the reason.
Should not be the reason.
So they were playing. It was the Steelers versus Vikings, and the church canceled service. So the Light Brigade showed up to go to church on Sunday and was like, "Seriously?"
So the church canceled service because of the Super Bowl?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it wasn't the church formed by the Light Brigade yet.
Right,
It was
right.
like more ready and willing to keep going to Sunday service. They were like, "What the hell, man?" And then that's why when they created the Vine Christian Community Church, and then
So that's when they split
Yes.
off into their own thing.
yes, and they formed all the other, changed names and did whatever until they got to the 12 tribes
Okay.
name that they landed on, and that we know them to this day. They created churches all around.
Do we know why, like, what significance 12 tribes is.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, the 12 tribes of Israel.
So it is referring to that. It's
Yes.
just
So
okay.
they are, which I'll get into a little bit. They're just like trying to follow the Bible and its teaching at its like purest form,
Yeah.
but also with some interesting interpretation.
Okay.
But the 12 tribes of Israel is such an, I don't know, it's old school.
Mhm.
They mix a little bit of like Judaism and Christianity too. Like they follow Jesus is their savior,
Okay.
but they follow a lot of Judaism practices.
Okay.
If that makes sense. A little weird.
Sure.
Sure. You can make up whatever you want, I guess. So they open churches, yellow delis in Dalton and Trenton, Georgia, Alabama, Dayton, Tennessee, a couple other places throughout those states. The Yellow Deli is what they're opening here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all over the country. I've gone to Portland, Oregon, and seen one.
Yeah, there's one down the Cape.
Yep, there's one down the Cape. And then we used to have the Common Sense store.
Mm-hmm. That was them too, wasn't
Yes, it was. Yeah. And then we have Blue Blinds, which I think we were the only Blue Blinds.
Oh, really?
Yes. We're the only
So
Blue
the Yellow
Blinds.
Deli and the Blue Blinds.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like color.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's just, I mean, it's weird that they're both color references.
I mean, not all of their stuff is, but some of their stuff is. Yeah, so their beliefs are described as a mix of Christian fundamentalism and Hebrew roots, I don't know how to say that word, Judaism.
Messianic.
Thank you, Messianic, and sacred name movement. And they align themselves to be of these denominations. But anyone else who follows any religion, they consider them to be fallen. So it's not like they look at other Christians and they're like, hell yeah, you're doing a great job.
So other Christians think they're fallen?
No, they think other.
Oh, they think other Christians
Yes.
Because they're not
I'm
strict
sure
enough?
likewise for some of them. But yeah, no, because they're not following the text the same way they do.
Okay. I feel that's very typical for religions in general that are
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
we're the ones doing it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the more quote unquote fundamentalist you go, the more extreme everyone else is doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Certainly the case with these folks. So basically, the church and the faith needs to be restored to its original form,
Okay.
and returning to the practices and beliefs that they had for the original 12 tribes of Israel. So like that ancient Judaism, that's what they're going for, and they follow some. Say this for me, Fish.
Mosaic.
Mosaic law. Like they take they practice the Sabbath.
Yeah.
So they're closed.
So they work on Sundays.
They work on Sundays, closed on Saturdays.
Is it a sundown
Oh,
sundown
okay.
thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So they work on Saturdays.
Yeah.
No, they're off on
closed on
Saturdays.
Saturdays.
Huh.
They're
Well, it's the
I never
Jewish
noticed
the
that.
Jewish Sabbath.
Okay.
yes.
All right.
That was funny. So they're working all
I'm
day.
not even
Saturday.
sure what day it is right now. So,
Consider it the old school Sunday is their Saturday. Like everything closed.
So they were closed on a day before it was cool? They're like religious hipsters?
No.
No, Andy, we're just gonna move on.
Yeah. Some dietary restrictions, and by that I mean like they. I
Do
don't
they
know.
keep kosher or?
I didn't see that necessarily, so they don't entertain things like whatever it is. It's got to be like for your best health to make you just the best version of yourself, and they will allow for like dietary like restrictions that are because of allergies.
Yeah.
But like they're not going to entertain the idea of veganism or
Oh, really?
vegetarianism. Yeah.
So, like, if I went in and been like, I would like a gluten-free blah, 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 they were like, we don't have that? Or is it just...
if-
That's yeah, but
Yeah, that
that's-
falls
oh, that's an
under-
allergy. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Allergies is a
sure.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And
All
I
right.
mean, they have this is different for what they serve to customers. What they
Okay,
serve
so
to-
this is them personally, not
Yes.
their business practice. Okay.
right.
I think that was kind of my question.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, you can go in there and I'm sure get something vegetarian or maybe not. I don't know. They got salads,
Yeah.
soup.
Is salad vegetarian?
Imagine if
Not the
they,
way I make them.
if they just forced meat. They're like, no, you have to.
Bacon bits on a salad is perfectly reasonable.
But
Bacos are vegan.
what?
Bacos
Are vegan.
Oh, I didn't
Bacon
know
bits
that.
are not, Andy.
Anyway,
I make my own bacon bits because I refuse to use, like, whatever that is.
I don't know what it would be. Soy. I'm gonna guess
Probably.
soy.
It's probably soy.
It's plant-based bacon. It hurts my soul.
They also fall in line with different Jewish celebrations, commitments, observations of different holidays, and they have like festivals for
Okay.
whatever occasion calls for it. And the obvious one that we see just by a thing that like makes them different just out on the street is their dress code.
Yeah.
So girls have to grow their hair out longer,
Do guys have to have a beard?
beard
Yeah.
and like a ponytail.
Yeah.
Right behind there. All low ponytails. You're not allowed to have like anything higher.
You can have like a man bun.
No.
Yeah.
And then nothing super loud for clothing. Covered up
Yeah.
skin for the most part. No collarbone. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that kind of repressive type thing.
Yeah. You know.
You know, like the town in Footloose.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah, they didn't
Like,
have
dress
ponytails.
code-wise.
Yeah, they didn't have
Yeah.
ponytails and stuff.
That's the dress code in the town in Footloose?
I vaguely remember Footloose, but it's
I
not
don't
like
think
super
I don't
impressive
recall
small
that being
town.
in Footloose, but I was just letting them have it.
I was like, what?
I was just like, sure.
This is where we realized I've seen Footloose once, maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
that's just the movie where you can't dance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
can dance. Like, together in a festival setting.
The 12 Tribes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so there's nothing like Footloose.
Okay.
Kevin Bacon isn't even in the tribes.
They refuse.
Is this
argue that
12
I
degrees?
don't
The
know.
12 degrees of the 12 tribes?
This episode's now the 12 Tribes with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
So they refer to Jesus as Yahshua. That is his Hebrew name.
Yeah.
And they also give every member there a new Hebrew name.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What if you already got a Hebrew name?
They loved me every time I go in there and I tell them what my name is.
Really?
They're like,
Is
yeah.
Hanna a Hebrew name?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Short for no.
For Hannah.
Don't
No.
lie to me again, all right? You almost got me with the Super Bowl
So,
thing.
When I was little, I was always mad that I didn't have a name that you could nickname on.
Oh, yeah.
So I used to tell people my full name was Hanukkah.
Of course you did.
Because that's spelt the same.
That's when I do it.
Yeah. So yeah. Yep. Makes sense to me. Anyway, I do shorten my name sometimes. Han.
Han.
It's like Dan, but with an H.
It used to be like ha.
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 That's all you need. So yeah, they have 3 eternal destinies in their religion. So after the fall of man, which is, Adam, the fall of Adam.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Heard of
every
him.
person was given a consciousness from God. And regardless of the faith, everyone dies and goes to the same state of death. I forgot to mention they're very strict, patriarchal, and submissive. Make people
Oh, yeah.
be
Yeah.
submissive to what they got going on. That was supposed to be part of the other part, but it was
Yeah.
in my side notes. So, believers will be brought back for the second coming of Yahshua and chill with Yahshua for 1,000 years until the last judgment day. And Yahshua would return once they are geographically established to have enough people to provide. So it would be, in the 12 tribes, they need 12,000 people from each tribe to usher in the kingdom of God, is my understanding.
Oh.
So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create the
They're trying to hit a quota,
yes.
which will then kick off the end times.
Yes.
That's an interesting.
And at the end of a millennium, non-believers will be judged based on their actions, deeds, purity, etc. And they'd be split into, 2 groups, the righteous and the filthy and unjust.
I feel like that's going to be a big group.
And
Well, you were fine until you cut your ponytail, Andy.
It's true.
and in the universe, and then the righteous would exist eternally in the universe, in the forever, and be happy in the kingdom of God. And then the unjust are sent to a fiery lake.
Fiery hell, like
Yeah. Which I thought I was like, is that a national park?
What?
Fiery Hell Lake?
No, just fiery lake sounds familiar.
I don't think it's a place.
Don't
Hannah.
know.
It sounds like
Let's get researching on that.
Alrighty.
I was like, that sounds like a place that exists.
Fiery
If
lake.
not real, like not really a lake of fire,
Yeah.
but
Actually,
nice. So, like I said, it's a global group, and the structure, they have like a structure of councils designed in mind. There's like there's elders, there's the people you go to that give you permission to do stuff, essentially. There's the local, regional, global, apostolic council, and it is overseen by teachers, deacons, deaconesses, elders, and other apostles. And the original group is like the nucleus, so that would be Briggs, and he has a
Is he
side
still
guy.
alive?
Spriggs. No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I waited. I was going to
you
ask.
did kind of lead into that one, Hannah.
How
Kinda
did
like-
I lean into it?
Well, because
you
it
said
made
there's
it.
an elder, and then you mentioned him.
You mentioned him like you made it sound like they still ask him for permission to do things. That's why I asked.
Okay,
So that
well,
was my confusion.
pretty much they do.
And for the record, there doesn't seem to be a Fiery Lake National Park, but there is a Valley of Fire
Valley of
State,
Fire.
Valley of Fire, okay.
Yes, I wanted to go to that.
which is in Nevada.
I know where it is.
And not on fire, right?
It is
Maybe?
hot. It's a lot of red rocks.
I mean, it's in Nevada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty warm.
So Spriggs, who started the movement, he was the leader. Yonik is what they call him. In case
Wait, how are they spelling that?
a Y?
Yoneq. Am I saying that right?
I have no. I mean, I'm gonna go with yes. It's just that's a weird spelling for anything.
Sure.
I don't see any problem with it.
When you're making up your own name.
Yeah, but it's let's lean hard into Hebrew names and then Yoneq.
I'm probably spelling it wrong. I'm going to be honest.
All right.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to level with you.
I'm sorry.
I
thought
wouldn't know
read
if
it
you were
somewhere.
spelling Bill wrong.
I
so
know.
I mean,
I got to stop.
everybody spells Bill with 3 L's, right?
Got to stop
No, where you put them?
having fish pronounce all the words I write. Don't look at them.
Yeah.
So,
He's so critical. She's doing her best, Fish.
oh man. So the stuff you see in the cult leader. What am I writing here? From
I feel like one of us should know.
But from an next one. Oh, okay. All right. So all the stuff like that they have going on there, face value, pretty like cordial people.
Yeah.
Like, they're totally fine. They're probably nicer than some people I meet like on the street.
Yeah.
Implement, to be honest. But he has all the Spriggs had all like the red flags of
Cultism.
cultism. Yeah. So very. I almost said motivational. He's certainly motivating some people, but just captivating. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? People were bought into what he was selling because it was, you get to just live a pure life and hang out and be pals and
It's kind of like this is your new family now kind of thing.
yeah, and take the burden off of. I don't know.
Take the burden
bur-
of like making your own decisions and
It's not so much that. A lot of people were sold on the idea. They genuinely believe like the basics of the religion I laid out for you. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, if I'm gonna live after this eternally, I got to do this. So that's what a lot of people are like. Whew.
So it's a little self-preservation kind of.
Yeah, for sure. But from ex-members, it's obviously like a different story. So I watched the show, Cults and Extreme Beliefs.
Okay.
oh, the Vice documentary.
Yes. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Not seen it, but I've heard of it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's all the regular, they go down the checklist of let's find these people, interview them, and go kind of
Find out what the deal is.
poke the bear a little bit.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? So they go in and they have a girl who's from the Chattanooga area who was in it her whole life and ran away. She talks about some crazy stuff like
Alleged stuff.
Sure. She's not alleging it. Just some crazy stuff like she tried to run away. Her family brings her back at one point. She spends like a month in the house with her dad, and then like she's just like, I'm not doing it. And he just is like, fine, you're disowned. So they shun people who leave, pretty much.
Which is common in quite a few religions.
It is, yeah.
And super psychologically abusive.
Yeah. And, this girl's obviously just unhappy about a lot of it. But I think she said her breaking point was like a little boy lied and said that she took something that she didn't take. Yeah. And they were trying to talk her into...
Like confessing?
Confessing. They believe in corporal punishment.
Yeah.
So she said she was like hit over it, and then they locked her in a room for like a month, and every day brought her like one thing to eat and was like, just tell us you did it. And she said she prayed to God to say like, if you have to like let them know that I didn't do this, I really didn't do it, I'm not going to confess to something. And she's like, and no one answered me, so I realized it was all fake.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like an intense story. I was like,
sounds pretty heavy, yeah.
I know. And then she like literally ran away. There's also corporal punishment's one of them. Someone in Germany, reporter, went in and I keep saying disguised himself, but that's not what he did. He like
infiltrated.
All right. I kept wanting to say intercepted. He infiltrated them, and he got video of a lady spanking her child. They use like balloon sticks. This is stuff they've copped to like in the press too. They're like, we use this stick. It's like a balloon stick. It's flexible. We do it just enough so that the child is reprimanded.
Right.
But of course, things escalate beyond what we can see, at least what from people say. Yeah. Or at least what they own up to doing.
Right.
So there's also the issue of extreme homophobia, homo-bigoted beliefs. That's just gay is wrong. And there is also the issue we talked about, you mentioned earlier, about like them inviting everyone of every race. Yeah. I'm trying to find the quote. So Spriggs has a quote somewhere out there that was in the documentary. I don't know where they found the quote from him saying it. Maybe in the news, maybe from someone who like was just hanging out with him. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, it's horrible that someone would rise up to abolish slavery. What marvelous opportunity that blacks could be brought over here to be slaves so that they could be found worthy of the nations.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty friggin' horrible.
That's awful.
Yeah. And this is the same guy that invited everyone.
Yes. And
yeah, but they couldn't come over if they weren't slaves, Andy.
Yeah. I keep bouncing between him calling him Briggs and Spriggs. It's Spriggs. Sorry. It's Spriggs. His name is Eugene Spriggs. I even wrote it wrong.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because now I'm like, did she? I didn't even notice.
Yeah. It's hard to hear, but just so everyone knows. Sorry. Not sorry. So dating and relationships, too, are what they call courtship. If a couple is interested in one another, or two people are interested, not coupled yet, they have to ask for permission, and there's a waiting period where they're allowed to, like, hang out and interact, not touch. Yeah. And the community gives them feedback, and, like, elders.
The community gives them feedback?
Yeah. And elders and people in the councils or whatever. And their parents like tell them whether or not it's a good match and if they think it's going to work. And if they do, then they become engaged, technically, or betrothed. And that's when they're like allowed to just date and hold hands. Whoa. Ooh. Yeah. And based off their assessment of compatibility, then they will like allow them to get married.
So two people could totally agree to get married, but like the community could be like, no, you guys aren't a good match, and they wouldn't be able to get married. Oh, I don't know if that's more or less messed up than like an arranged marriage.
I'm more concerned with the community engagement aspect of it, because all I've got is this Waldorf and Statler like commenting on their date. and just like constant peanut gallery mockery, and I don't know how I could handle that.
I don't know either. So weddings are.
I feel like that is every day I go on.
Weddings are celebrations.
Fine, I'll leave the pups at home next time, Andy.
But they are also used as an opportunity to pre-enact what would happen when Joshua returns for his brides.
Wait, what?
That's what was written somewhere, and I said, wait, is Joshua going to take all the women as brides? And I don't
remember any polygamy in ancient.
I don't remember either, but it was so pretty
customs.
much. But they do. Well, they're not that. They're their own version of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the kind of thing where we're trying to get back to the old Bible. Also, Jesus, lots of wives.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Are they? They're not polygamous.
No.
No. Okay.
No. But
They're not, Yeshua.
yeah. Either way, I thought it was fun. They do pre-enactments of what like the end of days and.
So like
what
it is
like
like
when
as a
Joshua returns.
religious ceremony, like
They do like a pre-enactment. Like this is what's gonna happen. People dress up and do stuff. They have parts.
Wow, that's interesting.
So like the nativity, but like
Yeah,
I guess.
apocalypse.
Yeah, kind of intense, right?
Yeah. So it's like Waterworld.
I love it. Think of like people who are the people that have to play like the people getting sent to the fiery lake.
Oh yeah, and the one guy's like, "I'll be Yashua,"
Yeah,
because then
I'll be
he's gonna
Yashua.
get like
all the
girls,
all the chicks.
Yeah.
And then people are like,
I never get picked as Joshua.
yeah. So children, obviously, they do not believe in contraception, and
That leads to children. Yes.
I just say that obviously because it's just based off of everything I've told you.
Yeah, I feel
However-
like
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
typically, I don't know,
Generally-
of a fundamentally
organized marriages
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
submissive women does not lead to, birth control.
Typically not.
No.
So children are the hope for the future. And
because they need them to make that number.
exactly. So their idea behind corporal punishment is they need to make their children like the purest of the pure. So the way to do that is to negate any deviant behavior, bad behavior, with extreme punishment.
Okay.
So that's why they do that. Like I said, they use that balloon stick. In their text, they have a couple different things about how to
Beat your kid.
train your kid. I mean, they have pamphlets up at the thing, or they used to, that said like it's called When the Spanking Stopped, and talks about how detrimental it was for parents to like stop spanking their kids.
Wow, really?
But, yeah, that's like public. Yeah, you can go grab it.
Like they would just like leave that out on the counter?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so you have to make it hurt enough to produce the desired result. And they repeat it 3 times in their text.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so any adult can address this with a child and hit a child, punish a child.
So it's not just a parent.
Not just a parent, and they don't need to ask the parents for permission, and they don't ever need to tell the parent that they did it.
Wow. That's super messed up.
And then if it's there's an old recording of, I believe it's Spriggs, talking to a reporter, and he said basically any time that a different adult is punishing a child like that, it's the parent's fault for letting it get to a point where a different adult had to step in.
That's crazy.
For its parents' fault for not following their teachings the way
Right.
they should.
Wow.
Pretty wild.
That's insane.
Yeah. It is. So the kids are homeschooled,
Yeah.
obviously.
That's not a big surprise.
I know. I keep saying obviously after all this stuff, and I think at this point I don't need to. It's all obvious. So teenagers are assigned apprenticeships and taught different trades.
Yep.
And college is not allowed because it's too...
Corruptive.
Yeah. Both. Why not? Corruptive was the word they used, though.
I'm sure it is.
I stand by my word choice.
Right. And now there's a couple instances, like in the group's history, that it's gotten pretty intense as far as just all of the stuff I've mentioned, because obviously this has raised eyebrows in many different communities that they're a part of. Because from the original areas that they were in, like the southern states, like we said, they're all over the place. They're in South America, they're in Europe, I think there's somewhere in the South Pacific / Indian Ocean area.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
Tahiti?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
For
Let's say Tahiti.
Yeah.
All right.
They're in Tahiti.
Don't Google it. It's definitely Tahiti.
And so in 1983, charges were brought on to Charles Weissman. Oh, he's like the second in command.
Okay.
He's also, during one incident they had, I think that this is how I interpreted. There was an instance that they had to go to court, and he ended up marrying the defense lawyer that was assigned to them, like the public defender.
That's super weird.
So now that public defender is part of their
church?
Yeah.
That's really weird.
Yeah. That's how I took it, at least.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how they met. I'm
Okay.
like, what a meet cute that is.
Where'd you guys meet? I was defending him in court.
Yeah. Don't listen to what they say. So he's never hit a kid. He actually it was because of, he was brought on like charges of abuse. So it was for at least the time they're talking about.
Yeah.
So he was in the media quite a bit. And in June 11th, 1984, in Vermont, so not far from here, their Island Pond community, 112 children were taken into protective custody in one day in a raid.
Wow.
So it was very hard for the police to actually, they didn't really get the warrants they needed
Yeah.
to do that because it was difficult. No one knew like what the kids' real names were.
Oh, right.
Like their actual information,
Yeah.
their ages, if they were even born there.
Yeah.
So they just didn't have the information for every child. So they ended up having to release the kids back the same
Wow.
day.
Really?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I know.
And I'm sure it's hard to get like evidence because I'm sure they don't talk to outsiders.
No,
Yeah.
no way. And the day is commemorated as the Day of Deliverance with the community.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like a holiday?
It's just commemorate. They just think
Yeah.
about it when it
Weird.
happens. June 11th.
That's very strange.
Yeah, just because they're like, yeah, see,
See, we won
Lord was on our side.
because we won't tell you their names.
Yeah. Which is like, yeah, if you're doing stuff like that, that's a good way to stay out of trouble with it.
Yeah.
You like can't pin down.
Who's who? Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. So, red flags everywhere, obviously. And the cult scare was huge when they first started. So, like, a lot of people when they first started were like,
Ooh, yeah, late 70s.
Late 70s,
Yeah.
early 80s. Yeah. It's
were
like,
just like, ugh, what is up with these people? It was that they were not, they weren't just flying under the radar at all.
Yeah.
Wherever they were. And Ted Patrick, he was a father of deprogramming in the FBI.
okay.
He helped a sheriff's daughter from one of the communities they were in was part of it, and they falsified a warrant to get her and deprogram her
Oh, no kidding.
from the cult. Yeah, that was in 1980.
Yeah.
From the tribes.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And in 2001, the New York Post did an article accusing them of child labor, which is, I think, the most popular thing I hear
Oh,
about
I hear
them.
that a lot.
I
Yeah.
know, and I'm always like, not apples and oranges. I've heard a lot worse things happening on since we've talked
Oh,
about.
sure. Yeah.
I'm like, that's the one you're sticking with. All right,
Yeah.
that's fine.
That's kind of like the, when they get these notorious mobsters who, sell drugs and kill people and do all these horrible things, and they get them on tax evasion.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I get it. That's what you had evidence for, but it just seems like there's more.
Yeah, and not to, I shouldn't undermine this at all because I heard the poor girl talk that escaped from it, and she was like, I'd have to wake up at 3 a.m. to start making peach walnut muffins, and I was like, oh my God,
It's really specific.
I've seen those muffins. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
just
yeah.
thinking about it, it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
You had child labor muffins. Is that what you're saying?
It's just one of those things, man. It's like you think about what you've seen in town, and you're like, oh God, I never really thought about like someone being forced awake and having to just like
Make that. Yeah.
and be like
But the same thing is like you can't wear Nikes and like
and not be like I know,
you
yeah,
know,
it's true.
It's
It's
come on.
true. It's just one of those things.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's real.
It's true. Very much so. So yeah, we know about the child labor thing. That's like probably the most talked about thing in town. And the group had a hard time in Germany because Germany doesn't allow corporal punishment.
Oh,
Apparently
really?
the US does.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
knew that for sure.
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
And they pretty much ended up having to move out of Germany. Also, Germany doesn't allow homeschooling, and they were homeschooling their kids. So at some point, before they moved out of Germany, they came to some agreement that they would homeschool and just not teach sex ed or something like that.
Weird.
Yeah, sex ed and like
Yeah.
accounting.
We'll
it was
teach 'em-
sex ed and something
yeah.
else really random.
Counting. Yeah. And then they're like, also, you can't hit them. And they're like, no, we're moving.
Yeah, pretty much. And in 2013, there was a raid in one of their German communities because that's where the child abuse was actually captured on camera. The woman was spanking her son I don't know if it was her son, could have just been anyone's kid.
Any kid. Yeah.
In a like walk-in cooler or something. Which walk-in coolers are already like
Sketch.
sketch and just miserable, man. Like you work somewhere with that. And on top
Every
of
place I've heard of walk-in coolers, there's always like some story that someone relays where you're like, yeah, that's not okay.
I know, literally.
That's
I'm
not-
like, why does it all happen in the walk-in cooler?
It's secluded.
I
Yeah.
know, it's just
It's
like,
secluded and people don't hang out there because it's cold.
Yeah, true. So, just some things about their businesses, what they own. So we know about the Yellow Delis.
Yep.
We know about no, we don't know about Common Ground Cafe, but
We do now.
one of their cafes. Parchment Press, a printing company that they own.
Okay.
BOJ Construction, which is a nationwide thing, but it's based out of Plymouth.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. And Commonwealth Construction, which I think is just in certain states.
Yeah.
And then Greener Formulas, which is a soap factory where they make some of their stuff they sell. And Common Sense Farm.
Which
It's a farm.
is related to the Common Sense Store, I'm sure. Yeah.
And Simon the Tanner, which is shoe stores. They're in Vermont and New Hampshire.
Huh. It's a lot of stuff.
It is a lot of stuff, and some of it isn't just like centralized to what they sell. Like it's not just going right to their shops. There have been other companies in business with them.
So you can find Simon the Tanner shoes in other stores? That kind of
More
thing?
like soaps, their wholesale stuff.
Okay.
Maybe their shoes, but I know like Robert Redford at one point was buying, I think, their soaps for something having to do with like the Sundance
Oh, really?
festival. Yeah.
Or for like
And
a
then-
gift bag or something?
Yeah, and then stopped when he found out about the child labor.
Yeah.
So, and that happened with a couple other bigger named things.
It's
And I
interesting.
thought Robert Redford was interesting. What movie was Robert Redford in with Kevin Bacon? Let's make the connection.
Robert Redford, Kevin Bacon.
Or
Don't you have to make it within like a certain number of
Six.
steps?
Six. We'll get there. We'll think about it later.
All
we don't
right.
have to do it now, but just good call out because
Okay.
they did business with Robert Redford.
All right. I bet you I can do this pretty quick.
I cannot.
Okay, so Robert Redford was in Sneakers with Dan Aykroyd, and I'm 90% sure Dan Aykroyd was in JFK with Kevin Bacon.
I don't
If
know.
not, Dan Aykroyd was in Ghostbusters with John Candy, who was definitely in JFK.
Okay.
There you go. That's what, 4?
Yeah, you did it. I'll take it.
All right.
So
This episode is definitely 12 Tribes of Kevin Bacon. There's no way this can be named anything else.
they operate as a 501d for-profit organization with religious purpose
Oh, really?
and common treasury.
Okay.
which means that no one makes like individual income
Yeah.
and pays property tax, but tends to not get taxed on other like specific incomes.
Mhm.
And their founder, now that we're on that,
Spriggs.
or eunuch, just died January 11th, 2021.
Oh wow! Like just
Yeah, at 83.
holy crap!
Guess what he died from?
COVID?
Yeah.
Get out! Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and then that's the general stuff about him, and then we know what we know.
Yeah.
From them being local. The tribes being local, it definitely opened my eyes to certain things I didn't know about them.
The thing that I remember hearing most about them was whoever they had doing their social media, which is weird that
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Apparently they got hacked.
Again?
No, like for a couple years ago. Do you remember that? Blue
Yeah, I
Lions
thought
Bakery?
I thought it was someone who left the church that had the log on. That,
Oh my
that was the
God.
impression that I got.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that happened.
Yeah, that's what I heard was it was someone
What
who
were they saying?
oh, like, you know, this basically all the bad things that we have discussed about them being homophobic and racist.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's all true. It's all true.
Yes.
It's all true.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I blocked that out.
Yeah.
Holy.
And they own a tall ship too.
They do. They have a couple tall ships. That one, I talked to one of the ladies once before, and they bought it in Brazil and fixed it up. That was it. That's the story of that. What else? What else they got going on?
Well, they just rebuilt their whole little
Yeah, common sense.
area over there.
But turned it into this huge
It
building.
looks amazing.
It does.
I gotta say,
It does
It
look pretty
really looks nice.
gorgeous. I will never go in there, but it looks
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
So those kids did a hell of a job.
Yeah. Well, I'm in high school. I used to go into that common sense store all the time. And one time, me and my friend went after hours, and the door was open, and we were like, "Oh, sorry, we'll leave." And they were like, "No, we're just having a rap session." And I literally was like,
A rap session.
"That's what people say for like talking."
Yeah, I've heard that.
In high school, I hadn't, so I was like, "What?"
Did you start to freestyle?
No, I was like, I don't.
No, Hanna naturally beatboxes. When
We just didn't know like what to do, and we were like, oh, "Okay, we'll leave." And they were like, "No, you can stay." And they gave us brownies and like tea, and we hung out. And then that's when they found out. They were like, "What are your names?" And I said, "My name was Hanna." They loved that, and then my friend at the time, who actually like was very religious,
Yeah.
felt so snubbed because she was like very willing to have a conversation with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because she was like, "Hey, we got this."
Yeah.
You and I love God, Jesus, and they were.
And then like, yeah, but your name's not Hannah.
yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Your name isn't biblical. I
Yeah,
don't care.
she said, "Oh, I have a biblical name too," and I was like, "I was named after Mia Farrow's character from Hannah and Her Sisters, not because of the Bible."
I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, you can skip it. Woody Allen's not doing too great.
That is also true. Yeah. There's lots of problematic things in the world.
Yeah.
And you have to learn to separate the art from the artist.
Maybe not on his occasion. Yikes. Big yikes. I don't know. You have any thoughts?
That's pretty much the extent. I've been to their deli before. Didn't know what I know now.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
It's a very cool place. Like, I mean, I went because I'm like, I want to play Dungeons and Dragons here because it looked like a
I think-
old timey like.
I think they do
weird
a good
tavern-y,
Yeah, they do.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they
I was
do
very
a-
upset. I wasn't very upset, but I'm like, what? There's no beer.
Oh, yeah, no. I think they do a good job at. I don't know. They are it's very meticulously, like they crafted. Their stores
their
look
craftsmanship
amazing.
is amazing.
Yeah, like
for
they're
sure.
not skimping on anything. Like they're not taking the shortcuts.
No.
Everything looks like they have spent a lot of time on it.
Yep.
Or at least, maybe if not a lot of time, a lot of skilled time, which is
Yeah.
just like incredible looking. So I think that's part of the draw for people, right? It's like we get to sit in a cute little cafe with
Sure.
homemade stuff that's good and organic, and they only use honey and not sugar. And
Because it's all about what's
Yes.
best for you.
yep,
Do they use bacon?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I can't remember.
For people they sell to, I don't know if they
If they eat it,
personally
right,
do. Yeah, they might.
I wonder if Kevin Bacon's ever eaten at one of their establishments.
Probably, probably. But yeah, I know
Kevin Bacon, if you're listening, write in and let us know.
I mean, it's some things to take away and maybe change.
There's plenty of other locally owned businesses, restaurants, delis, and cafes that don't belong to cults.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. This is a very
I guess
long
this is the part where we
pause.
stop talking.
Let's let you have that one, Fish.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. You can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or on Instagram at Inebri-art6. You can email us at Inebri-art@yahoo.com. And make sure you listen to the other podcasts on the Inebri-art Podcast Network, including Bar Talk, Old Colony Cast, Retro Redoctopus, America's Hometown Horror Podcast, and our newest one, Theme Park Legends, a podcast about working at theme parks. What else? And we'll catch you again next time.